What up, everybody? I just wanted to start off this video by saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope everyone has a great day. You guys eat lots of food and you're able to spend it with those that you love, whether that's friends, whether that's family, whether that's, some streamers on YouTube like I like to do. As long as you guys are able to have a good time today, I really hope that's the case for everyone. So we'll go ahead and get into this. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, this might actually be the only video I'm going to be doing today, just because most likely I'm going to have to be doing some cooking myself. So I'll do this one for sure, and then I'll see if I can come up with some other videos, because there are some other topics I do want to discuss. But if not, then yeah, this will be the only one that I'm giving out today. So again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. So DayZ developer responds to Frostline DLC review bombing over the price. So I seen this news, and at first I was kind of interested on what the whole case was, why they were getting review bombed and everything like that. Some of the stuff is a lot of things I can actually agree with, but there was a specific thing that wasn't mentioned in this article that I believe was kind of one of the culprits as well, that I personally have a little bit of gripes about. I'm not too happy that they went this direction, so we'll go ahead and get into this and I'll give my thoughts. So, review bombing is a practice that picked up steam over the last handful of years when players of a game felt they've been wronged in some way. For fans of DayZ, that happened when Frostline DLC launched in October. Over the last 30 days on Steam, the DLC has a 77% negative reaction, with players upset about a variety of things. The bulk of, however, involves the DLC's cost of $26.99 and what fans see as not much content for their money. And for me, I feel like that is a little bit of something that can be agreed with, in the fact that they're charging $26.99. I feel like if they had dropped down maybe half the price, so like $13.99, people wouldn't have so much of an issue. But the fact that they're charging $26 for a game that's nearly 10 years old, I feel like that is something that can rub people the wrong way in that regard. So DayZ itself is great for the price. The price for just a map alone is not worth it, especially when there are so many better modded maps out there for free, one player wrote. Do not waste your money on this map, you are not missing out on much, sadly. Said another, for this price, they've handed us a rehashed map for Arma 3, stripped down content, broken balance, and shameless copied ideas. In a response to the backlash on social media, Marek Spinell, head of developer Bohemia Interactive, said that players aren't being forced to buy the DLC. And that's personally where I have some issues with the whole DLC, and then especially this individual making that type of statement. Because one thing that I did notice after the game was updated that I really don't like was the fact that the main map in the game, Chernaris, was actually like a lot of the servers that they had for the game originally have been either removed or they changed them up. So I had a whole like a list of the servers that I personally like to log into, my own little favorites that it gives you the option to do. So you can mark them and then have it so that you don't have to keep going through each server to try to find the one that you like. You can add like a little favorites tab to it so that you can just have the specific ones that you play with. When I went to go and play after the update had went through, a lot of my favorited servers were either missing, or it would just have like the code name of the server without you actually able to log into it. So when the individual says that, oh, we're not forcing any players to buy the DLC, in a sense, they kind of are, because it is one of those things where if you didn't buy the new map, then you can't just go and play the original map, because a lot of the servers are missing, and it feels like a lot of the servers that are left are now packed with so many players that it's like I started playing the other day where it erased my player that I had originally. I had to really start fresh from the beginning, start near the shore. And when I went to go into like the first little town that I was able to interact with, it was just full of players right off the bat. I think I'd seen like 3 or 4 players within the time span of like 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, it's one of those situations where they're not forcing players to buy the DLC, but it feels like they're going out of their way to try to make the rest of the game unplayable, so that you pretty much have to get the DLC. And that's something that I do not like, and I don't like the fact that they're trying to make statements like this where it's like, well, we're not forcing you guys. If you guys want to play, you can, but if not, that's not on us. It kind of is when you do stuff like that. So that was something I wasn't a fan of, and I didn't really like. So, did you know that 8 million users from whom we have data on Steam played for an average of 188 hours and paid an average of 30 USD gross in DayZ? Spinell asked. That means we received less than 10 cents for an hour of live online gaming, for which we host the online infrastructure and have been updating it for 10 plus years. Yeah, DayZ Frostline is currently being review bombed on the same platform for being too expensive, $26.99 for just a map, and some users demand give me more for less money. And yeah, that may be some users, but I don't think everyone is asking, like, give me more content for less money. I think people are just saying, if this is the content that you guys are going to be giving us to begin with, maybe drop the price down so it doesn't feel like something that, might feel like you got cheated a little bit. Because I was one of the individuals that had played for the other map on it, Livania. So I had purchased Livania to be able to play that other map and see what it was like, and it is a smaller map. There isn't as much, stuff in it as the original map. So even though, it wasn't a high price, I think it was like around like $13 that I had paid for it. There was a sense to where it did kind of feel like, well, this is less content than what the actual game holds. And if you're going to be getting a DLC, yeah, there's a big chance that it's not going to be as much content as the original game. But when you're talking about a game that's this old, you'd hope that if they are going to have some type of DLC that you're going to pay for, it would it would feel like it was something that you would get your like a bang for your buck kind of a thing. But at the same time, that really just kind of shows how the developers look at it. So when they decide to do something like this where they're charging $26.99, I feel like for the most part, at least for someone like me that did pay for the DLC, it would leave you a little bit weary and kind of questioning if it is even worth purchasing, or if it's better off just waiting until it either goes on sale or they just decide to drop the price overall in general. So, in a separate social media post, the game's official account said that they were reading the feedback received and always try to make the most of it. The DayZ devs team continued working hard to pack in more awesome content with each update. The post reads, "We read carefully your feedback and always try to make the most of it. We also don't forget about our amazing modding community, and yes, they got tons of free maps that'll keep you busy if you are not ready to join people on Frosky's Sakal just yet." And that's another thing I feel like people have an issue with, is the fact that it does seem like the developers are kind of relying a little bit too much on the modding community. If the modders are able to make a map that has either more content or feels like they're able to give you more than what you have to pay for from the developers themselves, I mean, you can't be too surprised when you find out that the gamers are actually upset with that and they're not too happy with you guys on the direction you're taking when it comes down to this game. So, at the end of the day, it is one of those things, like, I'm sure many people hope that, as the developer, you're able to actually give people the content that'll make them feel satisfied, as opposed to having to rely on modders that would be doing it in their own time and on their own efforts. Because at that point, when they're making statements over here like, oh, it's less than 10 cents an hour for the live streaming game, well, it's like, well, yeah, but these modders are doing it on their own time and they're not getting paid for anything. So you really can't use that as an excuse in that regard. So again, my main gripe is the fact that they did kind of not necessarily ruin the game, but they just messed it up a lot by getting rid of a lot of the original map and making the servers that do have the original map almost unplayable, in the sense where, like I said, there's just too many players where it's not really fun, to the point where, like, when you're just starting off and trying to, get something going to survive, you have to be careful of other players on top of dealing with like on top of dealing with like the zombies, and then just trying to find, loot to begin with. So that was something I really don't have too much of a joy over, as well as the fact that they are charging a pretty good amount for a game that isn't, nearly worth, what you're going to get out of it from the map that they decided to give you. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If there are any DayZ fans out there, how do you guys feel about this? Did you guys notice that any of the servers did get taken down? And if you did, like, notice that they are, the ones that are left are full of players, to the point where it's almost like, it almost makes it not fun to play. As well as the fact that if you did purchase Sakal, what are your guys' thoughts on it, as far as how it goes? If it is something worth purchasing at all, and if it, if you do feel that it is worth the $26.99, so the $27 that it asks. So give me your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you guys could like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys been watching this song, I really appreciate it. I also do again want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Again, I hope you guys have a great day and you guys eat lots of food. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.